What's up? What's up? How you doing?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Doing well. Thanks for coming through.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely. Welcome to the BlackPrint podcast. We are your hosts, Virtue the Artist.
I'm your boy Fame.
And this is the BlackPrint podcast,
Yes,
episode
sir.
6. And we have a special guest in the building. She goes by Jordynn.
Yup.
Yes, I'm Jordynn Nicholson.
Okay. What is it that you do? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am a wife. I'm a mom. I am an influencer coach, content creator. I teach people how to leverage their influence online
Dope.
and make money through brand partnerships, but also like really leaning in on their authority and, establishing themselves as an influential person online. Yeah.
That's dope.
So first and foremost, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here because I love podcasts. I love like good conversations with creatives.
Mhm.
I love this. So I'm
It took a
excited.
minute for us to set this up because wanted to be perfect for you and
That's
that
okay.
was
sure.
Thank you. It
For
looks
sure.
like all the lights. Y'all got y'all.
Thank you.
y'all got it.
For sure. So where I want to start at, just to give a little backstory,
Mm-hmm.
me and my good brother Fame here started this podcast, and we knew in the month of February we wanted to highlight Black people and more so Black women
Yeah.
Correct.
who are, doing their thing in the space. So first and foremost, how do you manage being an entrepreneur, creator, wife? It's a loaded question, but I think
It
you can
is.
indulge us.
It is. How do I manage? Oh gosh, it's hard. First of all, God sustains me because
For sure.
honestly, I don't know. Like there are just times where in my business. Well, this is something that just happened. So the other day we wake up and there's $600 that's been charged to our account, and I'm like, hold up, what's this? And so I start doing some digging, some research. We find out that this guy that I hired on Fiverr to run my Instagram and Facebook ads has
Uh-huh.
taken over my account, made me an employee of my account, made
What?
himself an admin, and made multiple accounts in my name. And he's running ads and using our business account to do
That's
it. 'Cause it's all
crazy.
attached, right? Yeah, no, it is crazy. It's
That's
crazy.
super crazy.
And so like in this moment, I'm like, okay, so we have a kid's birthday party. I've got to get the kids breakfast. I got to do X, Y, and Z. And I have this huge issue. What do I do first? So I'm like, God, I have no control. What do I do? What do I do? And he drops in my spirit Psalm 3. And so I go through and I'm reading it. And it's like, he sits on his holy hill. Save me, oh God. Like he is my shield. And I'm just like reading it and letting it sink in. And it's like, he strikes the teeth of the wicked. And I'm like, I don't have to fight back, but I will have a strategy. So I start writing down all the things I'm going to do. Change my password on GoDaddy. Change my password here. And like, he's giving me strategy here. And then my husband Will takes the kids to, gets them ready for the birthday party while I'm handling this. And then things just kind of started working out. I got on the phone with Facebook. Things started working out. So like when you say manage,
Mm-hmm.
like there's no real management. It's like, God,
He is my
like,
manager.
you are my manager.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
come help
For
me
sure.
with this situation because I don't know what to do. So yeah, we closed the card.
Okay,
And
good.
we're in the process of getting him off the account. He no longer has access to my Instagram or anything like that. But I mean, I was shook for a second.
That's crazy. I
Yeah.
don't even.
How did that even happen?
Yeah, like what made him think he could do that?
Honestly, I don't know. I think because when we're as creatives, when we're working on a project and it's overwhelming, sometimes we just step away. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, let me go focus on all the other creative things I'm doing.
Closer into the mic.
sorry.
Jordynn. Yeah, you good.
So I'm thinking of like, okay, let me go focus on other creative business endeavors. And so I stepped away from that Fiverr project. And I
Mhm.
guess that, if you don't approve the project, then they have to cancel the project and the money's returned. So the
Okay.
$50 was returned to me. So that's the only thing I can think of. Like, she owes me $50. She didn't sign off on this project. So I'm going to get my money. I don't know. I really don't know
Crazy.
what he was thinking.
Probably
It's
with somebody
insane.
from overseas too.
He was from India. I mean,
yeah.
based on his picture, based on like all of the things, it was
Yeah.
But I'm just like, you could have just asked me for more work.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
Let's do good business, people.
Yeah,
Do
please,
good business because it wasn't like he
Please.
wasn't working. He was running ads, but just using my money.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
Man.
craziness.
That is super crazy. So let's go a little backwards.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us how you got started.
How did I get started? So I went to school at North Carolina A&T State University. So shout out to all my Aggies. I studied journalism, mass communications. I was doing like a lot of reporting, hosting, interviewing different celebrities that came to campus. And that was always like really cool to me.
Nice.
I think that was like, that was because it was always happening. I was never a fangirl. I was never like starstruck or, or anything like that. It got me acclimated to being around
Those type of people.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so I think that was really helpful. And so from there, I like after graduation and, even during my schooling, I was always gone. I was like meeting people, traveling, just trying to like break into the industry. I thought I was going to be like Roxy at the time. It was Roxy.
Yeah.
I went to Sixth Park, and it just was a lot harder than I thought.
I can see that. Definitely can see that.
It was so much harder than I thought. You think that you can apply for these jobs, but I don't even think that I could be wrong. I don't even think they look at applications. I think that they're like these people in the entertainment industry are just like, who would be good at this? Let's find like what I mean.
It's more of a facial thing, I guess.
Yeah, and
like if you look like you fit the part.
Right. And who knows who? You know, it's like it's all about who you
Popularity.
know.
And
Yeah,
they probably
so
already have somebody in line too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They already have somebody's cousin that is perfect for the job, whose uncle was in a rap group, and you know what I mean? It's just the way it is. So
That's funny.
I found myself compromising. But am I right?
Yeah.
I'm right.
In a sense.
For sure.
So I found myself compromising a lot because like I was, even in my relationships, like I was compromising because I wanted this thing so bad. I was reading into like manifestation books and like trying to tap into new age stuff that I didn't realize till later. I'm like, oh, that's not biblical. That's not like that. God speaks against that stuff. And so I ended up like just kind of giving it up. Like I was like, okay, God's not here. He's not in the entertainment industry, so I'm out. And so over time, like the dream, like kind of like it was reawakened inside of me when I was like around people like you guys. Like, oh, maybe I can still do this. Maybe there is a place for me in the entertainment world to speak, to host, to entertain, and have conversations. And maybe I really can still glorify God in that. And so, yeah, that's kind of like that's where it started. And
so how did you transition to, I guess, content, like creating with the camera and stuff like that?
So it was really out of necessity. So I always loved, creating content. That's what I've always done. I didn't know that's what it was. It's evolved to what we know it is now.
Of course.
But so I got married, and I was working a really awesome job. I loved it, doing social media management and things like that for the company. And newly married, I got laid off. And at this time, we're like living downtown Charlotte. We're living like this fun life. We're going to restaurants every night. We're going to the Hornets games and just having fun.
Nice.
And we're like, how are we going to sustain this life now without two incomes? You know, because we need two incomes to sustain this life. And so I ended up getting another job. God opened a door for me. I got another job, and then I got laid off a couple weeks later. And I'm like, okay, all right, Lord, like what's going on?
What you telling me?
What's going on? And then I find out I'm pregnant.
Oh man.
So at this point, we're kind of freaking out a little bit.
In the thick of it.
Yeah. And I'm sure my husband was maybe a little bit more shaken than me because, when he proposed, obviously my dad was like, you better take care of my daughter,
Yeah, for sure.
And so I was like, all right, I can either get a new job and risk being laid off again, or I can create my own path. And so I decided to create my own path. And I calculated how much money we needed to sustain what we had. And I went out and I charged people based on that number. So I like broke it down. Okay, I need 5 clients. I need to run social media, and I need to charge them each $1,000 a month. And word of mouth, things just started opening up and happening. And it was really word of mouth. So I started creating content for these brands. And I was working with like a shampoo company, like local. These are 2 women that just started the company. And I was like, okay, instead of paying the model, I'm going to be the model because I need more of this money, you know?
Oh, dope.
So I pocketed that cash, and I was the model. And I was like, I can be in this content. And so it turned into me being an influencer essentially. And so that's kind of like where it came from. And in doing that, I was like, okay, this is working for me. What if I teach other women how to do this too? And so that is how it evolved into what it is today, into a coaching business and into me still influencing and creating content for brands.
Gotcha. That's dope.
This is very intriguing because it's not a lot of, I wouldn't say it's not a lot of women in the space who use a camera. Today it is, but I like to highlight that because you're dope first and foremost.
Sure.
When I went to your page and I seen like everything that you were doing, I was like,
The aesthetic, the thumbnails, everything.
Thank you.
we are literally a visual agency.
Yes.
And it's so hard to do what you do. Like, especially managing, being a wife and
Having kids.
having kids. I know it was a couple of questions he had because he has a wife and has kids.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy just trying to manage the creative aspect of it, and then being a husband, devoting your time to your kids, your wife, but you get in the rut of just everyday life, trying to keep up your business and stuff like that. You get drowned, you get burnt out. So I was like, yo, I really applaud you for just being consistent with everything that you're doing. I know it's not easy, but we all have those days. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Super. Clap it up for you.
Yeah.
It isn't easy at all. And I'm thankful for the seasons where my husband lets me like work.
That's what's up.
Because, there are seasons where you do lose sleep and you have to be okay with that. But
sure.
there are other seasons of rest. And I think I'm in a slow season of just like having more rest right now. I think there's another season stirring up and I'm going to have to lose some sleep again. But, and I think just knowing that and being ready to know, like, I'm going to lose sleep. We're not going to be able to have the same time together as we were before, just in the building process. And there is an end date to it. This isn't forever. This is like, okay, until the end of February, to the end of March, I'm hustling to build this so it can be automated and it can run for itself.
Yeah. I believe we're in our season of no sleep right now.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Literally. But I want you to talk about more about the importance of having a partner who you can grow with and who understands what you're doing for the betterment of the family, especially coming from a woman's perspective.
Yeah. So it's so interesting. My husband does not necessarily have the same goals and dreams as me. He doesn't have the same drive in what I do. And that was really hard for me in the beginning of our marriage. I was always like, what is your dream? What do you dream of? I was so angry because I'm like, how can you not be up at night till 5 o'clock in the morning working on your dream? It didn't make sense because of how I'm wired. And I resented that for so long. But now that I'm in this space of like where we are now, I'm like, thank God that my husband wasn't up at 5 o'clock in the morning with me, because who's gonna fill in the blank and like fill the gap? We complement each other so well. I can't imagine. I know some couples, they're both driven and all that, but this works for us. It works for us. And he compliments me and he picks up my slack when I can't. He's holding the rest of it. Like, he's cooking. He grilled last night while I was on my computer working, took care of the kids, bathed them, got them ready for bed. And if we both had the same drive and ambition, I would not be able to carry out my dream. I wouldn't be able to. It would be like a fight. There would be like resistance for both of us trying to no, it's my turn. It's my dream. It's,
Yeah.
If you don't mind, can I ask you how old you are?
Yes. How old do you think I am? That's the question.
Between 28 and
I was about to say 28.
30.
Okay, I'm 30.
30?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 32.
Yeah, and I'm 29. I'll be 30 in July.
You're 30 also, or you're 32?
No, I'm 30 also. Yeah.
Okay,
I'll be
okay.
31 in March 4th.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said
I'm 30 July 5th.
okay.
Yep.
So I want to
Yeah.
we're all in the same.
That's dope.
Because you're young. How long have you been married?
Since 2017. This is year 6?
Year 6?
Babe, this year 6? Yeah.
Year 6.
This will be 6 years.
Year 6.
I've been
year
married
6.
for 10.
10 years.
Yeah,
Oh my
10 years.
gosh.
Same.
10.
Y'all got married when y'all were like 19.
Yeah, I got
Straight
married
out of high school.
Straight out of high school. High school
Yep.
sweetheart. I got married when I was 20.
That's crazy.
Got 3 kids.
Everybody called me crazy.
No, you're not crazy. The concept is crazy. It's
Yeah,
good.
for sure.
Crazy
Yeah.
good.
For sure.
For sure.
So speaking to that, like when you talk about everything in between you and your husband, I can think about me and my wife in terms of just having somebody who realizes and understands there will be inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Right? There will be months where we can't, it's not necessarily a lot coming in the household.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about how do you deal with those
Yeah.
inconsistent months? And
Yeah, there's always inconsistent months. And I think like appreciating what you have is really important. There's like I have dreams of having a farm and like raising chickens, even though I don't like birds. And like the kids having horses and like walking around barefoot and riding four-wheelers. Like that is my dream
You won't
life.
find me doing that.
Like,
For sure.
Well, see, Will wants that too, I think. Well, he's okay with it.
he's gonna do
supports
he's
my
gonna do it for
dreams.
you.
I see a head nod.
He's gonna do it for you.
Yeah. And so I have these dreams, and I had this moment with the Lord the other day and was like, okay, you want that. So you have to live that right now with what you have. Let the kids run barefoot in the backyard now. Like start making tea and like homemade things now. Learn how to make bread now.
Mhm.
Don't wait until you have the big land and have all the things before you start living that life. And so I think just like really being content with what you have when there are slow months. Okay, well, we're not going out to eat this week. So like, let's get creative. Maybe we can go to Harris Teeter and grab the $1.99 pizza crust and make pizza with, pepperonis. Like, let's get creative. And then those moments end up being way more memorable than the moments where we're out spending money,
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like those are the special moments. So if we could just like really live in the moment of what we have and just breathe in the moment and look around like, wow, look what we made. 2 little ones running around.
So,
How do we do
yeah, that's
this?
super dope.
Yeah.
Super dope.
So what?
Go ahead.
You good?
No, go ahead. Do your thing.
So what does a day in a life look like for you? Like morning to the end of the
Yeah.
day?
Okay, so I told you I'm in like a slower season. So I'm waking up at 8. The kids wake up at 8:03. I'm waking up like I have to make sure I get up a little bit before them. And usually Will helps me get the kids ready for school.
Mhm.
And I get myself ready. He makes them bagels and eggs. I take them to school. They go to school until like 1:00 in the afternoon. But while they're in school, I usually go to like Starbucks or Undercurrent, not just coffee, sometimes the library,
Mhm.
and I just work. I do strategy sessions with my students. I coach them on Tuesdays. I'm building out new things constantly. I'm trying to sell digital products. And so that's pretty much, the beginning half of the day. And then when we get home, kids go down for a nap. Will and I kind of sit together and work together. And the kids wake up, we make dinner, we sit together every night and we talk about our day and laugh and joke. And a lot of times we'll do like a dance party. We let the kids dance,
Mhm.
and which is really fun. It's like we just turn on music and then we all just end up dancing for a long time. And we're like, oh, it's 8:00, time for bed. And we do it all over the next day.
That's what's up. So you said digital products.
Mhm.
Can you talk about that? Like what you got out
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, so I have a $27 influencer starter kit. So it's basically a kit for someone who is looking to get into influencing and
Okay.
making money through brand deals. So there's like a pitch script, there's a list of platforms you can sign up for to start landing those deals. There's just like a bunch of stuff right there for you to start seeing like income today.
Oh,
I also have presets. So, like Lightroom presets, the $29 kit. And if you're someone who wants to make residual income, I see your wheels turning right there. Look at you. Look at him.
This is nuts.
So hold on.
This
So
is
so
nuts.
so
This
you
is
have
nuts.
a preset.
Yes.
Oh wow.
I have
have
presets
presets.
too.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's hilarious.
Let me ask you a question then. What camera are you using?
Sony A7 III.
Don't get too happy back there. Don't get too happy back there.
So our brother Brandon has an A7 III, and we're trying to
Oh.
get him to leave it alone and get an R6.
Yeah, Canon. Come to Canon,
Okay,
baby.
Yeah.
I really like Sony. One of my friends, she says that the Sony does some weird stuff with the skin. So that's why she likes Canon. So there's certain things that she only like product shots, Sony,
Mhm.
skin stuff, Canon.
Canon. Oh, so she
So-
has both.
She has both. She
Got you.
interchanges them. So I think they're both
Oh.
great. But I love Sony. I have a 50mm lens that I use pretty much for everything. And that's just like, that's my go-to. That's my go-to.
Sony does mess with the skin, and you definitely should think about getting an R6.
Ditch it. We started with Sony's.
Yeah, we started with Sony's for sure.
Okay, so you're saying I'm just starting out.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all. So going back to when you told us about you having a breakdown in your house, those 5, like you got to have these 5 clients at $1,000 each to be able to maintain what you want in life. Talk about how you deal with a no from a pitch?
Okay, so I no longer work with like clients managing their social media. But when it comes to me pitching myself, and my husband will pitch for me as well, pitching brands, I don't care. Like, if you're not going to pay me, I'm out to get my next check. Like, a no does not stop me. It does not stop me. You think of all these brands out here, and then there's all these variables. Like, do you fit what they need right now in a campaign? You know, are your insights high enough? Like, are you even getting traction and visibility for this brand to even want to work with you? Does your aesthetic fit theirs? So there's so many like variables and reasons why a brand would opt out of working with you. I don't get offended. I know my worth. I know my value. And if they won't pay me, somebody else will.
That's a fact.
That is definitely a fact. Going back to, you told us that you prayed, right? So you would say you're a God-fearing woman, correct?
Yeah.
So tell me, was there ever a time when you felt as though you had to compromise your Christianity for a brand?
No, not for a brand, but it's because I set boundaries before. Because I told you, like, you know, when I was trying to tap into the entertainment industry, I did compromise. I was letting things slide. I was doing things that like just were not something a woman of God would be doing. And so when I really pressed into my faith and my relationship with Christ, I realized that there were going to be boundaries that I had to set in order for me to not compromise and to also not lead other people astray. So, babe, I'm going to tell my story. Hope you don't mind. Okay, so I'm just gonna. I always share my testimony pretty much anytime I get a chance. So, this was like 7 years ago. I went to this Christian conference and I went up for prayer, and the woman was like, "Oh, God knows about your addiction to masturbation and pornography," and I'm like, "What?" And I was just like shocked that she would even say that. And this is something that women don't talk about. And she's like, "We're just going to pray it off you right now in Jesus' name." And I was like, okay. Okay. So she prayed, and I have not dealt with it, or struggled with it since. And so I shared my testimony online, and I literally, like, you can ask my husband, I ran underneath the dining room table, and I was like, I cannot believe I just shared that. I cannot believe I just shared that. And he's like, "It's fine. Like, God said to share it, share it." And from there, I had messages coming in from all over the country, and there were women and men confessing, and I prayed through people. Like, I prayed for people from that point on for deliverance and just for God to come in and show up. And so that was like the moment I realized my voice matters, and it can travel globally. All of our voices can.
Absolutely.
And so that was a really hard time in my life. And the reason why I share that is because I had a vibrator dildo company reach out, and they wanted to work with me, and they were ready to pay me good money for a collaboration. And that was a moment I had to decide, okay, like, I can make a very tasteful, I'm a married woman. I can make a very tasteful video or picture, but will this compromise my faith? Yes, it will compromise my faith. So I will not work with this company. And so I opted out and I said no. And so now my answer is no, I don't compromise. And I'm bold about my testimony, what I believe. I'm not like a Christian in this area, and then this here I'm standing up for glorifying something that is not of God. And that's just where I stand on it. I know that's deep, y'all. I took y'all. No, I'm sorry. I probably ruffled some feathers, and somebody's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, she went there."
No, you didn't ruffle any feathers, in my opinion. Because I actually shoot a podcast for this couple. It's called Mending Eden, and one of his confessions was his addiction to porn.
So many people struggle.
Yeah,
like, I mean, it's so many people,
and people are scared to come out and confess because they feel like they're going to be condemned or criticized and ridiculed and stuff like that. But no, everybody, is going through this thing called life. And I think we need to share more of, what we have to offer. And, because we're in this thing together. So why not? Let's help each other out.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's one of those things. I'm becoming more of like an advocate for it because I see the damaging effects it has, and like it's a true attack from the enemy. And the enemy makes us feel like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's not affecting you. But you know what? It's affecting businesses. It's affecting abundance. It's affecting people's dreams because their minds are elsewhere, and they're being like held captive by this thing that seems so small, something you do in private, something that people don't talk about. And the church doesn't really talk about it either. But yet we're being bound. And so I think that there's freedom in that confession for our businesses and our creativity. And that's like something that's just been on my mind and my heart lately. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Because that was definitely left field for me.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So,
my bad.
Definitely okay. Definitely okay. That was dope. That was super dope.
Because I know it's probably people that listen to our podcast that's probably going through that, you know? So
Women
definitely,
too. Women
definitely.
I think that was good.
Hearing it from a woman's perspective is very eye-opening because, you know, you never hear that.
Oh, yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, y'all thought y'all was the only one?
You never heard about that.
You never.
You know, never do.
Yep.
So is it hard for you to not compare yourselves to other people in your field?
So yes, it is. I think it is difficult. I think that especially when you're building something, you're looking at what other people in your field are doing, like naturally, like, oh, we have a design company. What are other design companies doing? How are they successful? And then you start the comparison. Oh, let's tweak this so we can like make our website like this and do this. And you start comparing yourself to kind of keep up. But one thing that God has been showing me is that like when you're in your vein, you have to put the blinders on to a point where I'm not even consuming content. I'm not even getting on and like scrolling through and looking at competitors or like, I don't even see them as competitors, but I'm not even looking at other people's stuff in this moment because I can't. The moment I do and the moment I see, oh, so-and-so grew 5,000 followers. What about me? Or they just blew up. They just did a podcast with BlackPrint. Like, dang, what about me? You know, like you start comparing.
That's a great soundbite. Thank you.
We're going to use that.
That is a great soundbite. Thank you.
And so I'm in a season where I cannot look at other people's stuff right now because I'm not going to say I'm not strong enough, but I don't think I'm ready to consume other content without my work being affected negatively by it. And that's just where I'm at right now. Not saying later I'll be able to do it, but I'm in this vein, I'm in this groove and it's working and I'm just like full speed ahead.
Tunnel vision.
Yeah, exactly.
No distractions.
No distractions. I'm praying to get to that point.
Yeah, me too.
And we can still cheer and root for everybody. Like I'm rooting for all my friends. I'm rooting for you. I can't right now. Like I can't go and like consume all your content, but I'm rooting for you.
So you don't actually pick up the phone to find inspiration, or like how do you?
Not right now.
Okay.
Not right now. I'm not. I like my inspiration is really like, all right, God, what you want me to post?
Gotcha.
But there have been seasons in my life where I'll be like, okay, let me get some good ideas. But when you find something that's working, you can't switch it up. Like I've found what's working for me. I've grown 10,000 followers in 4 weeks. My engagement is like, I've engaged with over 100,000 accounts. So over 100,000 people have commented and like engaged with me. Over 1 million, it's like 1.3 million people have seen my stuff. Nice. And so I'm just like, okay, there's no need to be getting inspiration. Like I am the inspiration.
Gotcha.
Like I need to be the inspiration right now.
That's a bar.
That's so fire.
Yeah.
That's so fire.
It's not always been like that. Trust me.
We found the title. Write that down for me. We found the title of the episode. How do you deal, since you don't find like you tunnel vision on it right now in terms of creativity and inspiration?
Yeah.
So how do you deal with creative block if there ever is one for you?
So I didn't mean to make this whole episode about the Lord, but I mean, he does what he wants.
It's fine.
Yes.
But like when we are having creative block, we need to go spend time with the creator. So
She's dropping all these bars.
if you're struggling with creative ideas, go to the source, go to the Father. He knows everything that excites your viewers and followers and future potential followers. So it's like, all right, God, what do your people need to hear? What do they need to see? And it doesn't have to be like, Jesus says repent. No, it's like, no, today they need encouragement. Like your creative ideas matter. Or, hey, here's how to create a viral reel, or here's how to set up your camera to get the best quality. Like that's what God's people need to hear. And so, yeah, go to the creator, go to the one who
to the
creates.
source.
Yeah. And I always think about like in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. He created Adam and Eve. And then he gave Adam the authority to name the animals. So you have authority to create. Like obviously Adam didn't like create the hippopotamus, but he named it.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like he named it. So like we have the authority. God has given us everything we need, and now put a name to it and like use it.
Man.
Operate in your authority.
I really appreciate you being here today.
Yes. Confirmation for me.
Definitely.
For a lot of stuff.
Definitely.
I'm so
Go
glad.
to the source. Go to
Yep.
the creator.
Yep.
If you're struggling with creativity, go to the creator.
Does
Yeah.
he who created the eye not see?
That's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to break that down a little bit more, like, okay, what does that look like to go to the creator, open up his word? That's how we see a glimpse of who he is. And I mean, he'll show you, he'll give you ideas, read the stories. Like it's going to stir something up in you. You read the story of Job, and Job is going through all these trials and tribulations. He loses his family. He loses his livestock. He loses everything. Boom. There's content on what to do when all hope is lost, what to do when your business is failing, what to do when no one believes in you and everyone says, just stop the business, kill the business. That's what the book of Job is about. Let's transfer it into our creativity. Like, I believe that's what God wants us to do as believers who are also creatives.
That's fire. Super fire. I'm excited.
Dog.
What would you, for a woman
Mhm.
trying to get into the space of creating content, such as yourself, what advice would you give them to start in that department?
Yeah. Well, I would say that you matter. You're creative. You're beautiful. You might not look like everybody else on the platforms, but there's someone who needs you and needs your voice, needs your story. Even if it's just one person, it feels like, what's one person going to do? No, that's a huge deal, because that one person can spark a whole nother movement. And so you've sparked a huge thing. And so I think if we stop, like we take the eyes off of ourselves and focus on serving other people, that's when the pressure is off. It's like, okay, it's not about me. So if I show up and mess up, like it wasn't about me. I'm here to serve other people. And I think that's the main thing, is like imposter syndrome. People suffer so badly from imposter syndrome.
They do.
Feeling like
Yes,
a
they
fraud,
do.
feeling like they don't belong. So
Yeah.
I come to say, yes, you do belong. We need your voice. You matter. Because what if I would have just stayed in the imposter syndrome and just like felt like, oh no, I'm a fraud, I'm a phony, I'm fake, I'm trying to be this influencer. What if I would have stopped right there? Then people wouldn't be impacted. You know, I wouldn't be walking in obedience.
Man. Lost for words.
Really though, definitely, for sure. This is one of them episodes where, I think this is where everybody will get something and be able to take away from it.
Yeah, from both sides.
Both sides.
Well, no, a lot of sides actually. Mom, content creator,
Yeah.
entrepreneur,
all in one.
you know,
Yeah.
all in one. So
Yeah.
this is really good, man.
Yeah.
So backing up to the very beginning of the episode of our conversation, you talked about how in the beginning you were, in an industry that really didn't do you justice. You were, comparing and all that. What would you say? What would you tell the woman or the little girl who's in an industry and doesn't feel pretty enough for the camera? What would you have to say to her?
I would say
And look,
that,
tell them right there.
okay, just because you don't look like someone else doesn't mean that you can't be as successful, if not even more wildly successful. I work with so many people, and myself, I don't match up to the world standard of a model and of an influencer, but you don't have to, because now people want to see themselves. They want to be related to. They want to look and see like, oh, she looks like me. And that's what we need. That is what we need. So I think we need to just take our attention off of what we think, what we deem as beautiful or as pretty, because God's definition is not our own definition. We have these standards that have been imprinted in our heads, and we're like, oh, well, she looks like that, so she's going to go further in life than me. And yes, I've heard of pretty privilege. Like, TikTok did a whole thing on pretty privilege. Yes, I do think that some people get more privilege, but guess what? Favor trumps privilege.
Everything.
Yes.
Everything.
It does.
That's what's up.
We're going to take a 5-minute break right here, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be back.
It's the BlackPrint.
And we are back. BlackPrint Podcast, episode 6. We are here with Jordynn, and now right next to her is her lovely husband, Will. How you doing, brother?
I'm good.
What's going on, Will? How you doing?
Good. Y'all all right?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
brother.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Thanks
sir.
for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
Good
it.
time.
How you doing today?
Can't call it, man. I can't call it. I'm here. I'm blessed.
For sure. Always favor. Always. So, ladies and gentlemen, where do we start? How did you guys meet?
So, like she mentioned earlier, we went to A&T together.
Mm-hmm.
This was probably my sophomore year. This is her freshman year. So me and my boys, we're in the caf, and we're hanging out, we're chilling, and we look over and we see Jordynn sitting by herself. Now I didn't pay any attention to it. I'm chilling, doing my thing, and she just walks over to the table. I'm like, yo, who is this girl walking over and inviting herself to this table? So I didn't pay any mind.
Uh-huh.
Mind you, my boys, being my boys, trying to holler at her, hey, what's going on? Cat calls and all this stuff. I'm just sitting back like, okay, that's cool. So weeks go by, months go by. We ended up hanging out, like just us two, just on like very cordial friendship type, nothing too crazy. And we just began to be real like close friends. And probably after like a year of doing that, I was like, you know what? I'm about to ask her to be my girlfriend. Like, what's the worst that could happen? And she said yes. So that was like, what, 7 years ago?
7 or 8 years
think
ago.
it's
But
like 7, 8
like
years
you
ago.
just said that, what is this girl coming over to the table? Your boys called me over. I was a little resistant and
Again,
hesitant.
that's how
They called me over. I wasn't just inviting myself.
That's how oblivious I was to the surroundings that was around me at that time. I was like, yo, what is she doing? Then they told me that they called you over. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope. That's
So,
fire.
so in that moment, you didn't even know that was going to be your wife.
Not in that moment. I think I found out that she's going to be my wife probably, I would say like maybe 6 months into dating. I had
Wow.
got to the point where I was like, this is it. Like, this is who I'm going to be with forever.
What qualities drew you to that thinking?
I think her being down to earth, relatable, understandable, very loving, very kind, very open to sitting with people at their tables, even though she wasn't invited. But no, but that's just her. That's her personality in general. Like, just very inviting. Never met a stranger, so that was pretty cool. And I was just like, why would I not want to spend the rest of my life with somebody like that? Right. So it's like,
That's dope.
Dope.
once I realized that, I was like, yeah, this is it. I'm out the game.
That's
Hang
what's
my
up.
jersey up. Put it in the rack.
Put it in the- Facts,
Put it in the
facts.
wrapper.
Do you ever feel overwhelmed, like with her helping her with her dreams and whatnot?
All the time.
Really?
All the time. I would lie if I said I wasn't overwhelmed at times, or a majority of the times. Because her dreams, like you said earlier, her dreams weren't always my dreams. I didn't understand that. Right? So it's like she knew what she wanted to do.
Hmm.
I was still figuring out what I wanted to do. So it was different walks at that time. Like, yeah, we still love each other, but you're on this whole different path than what I'm on right now. It was cool, but it was like, as a man provided or wanted to provide stability, security, it's like, all right, I got to figure something out.
Yeah.
Even if it's something like just for a season. Like,
Yeah,
do
for
something.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So again, in that stage of life, I'm trying to figure out, like, who am I? Here she is, just like, ha ha ha. This is what I want to do. I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna, be excellent in what I'm doing. And I'm just like, dang, I gotta get on it. I gotta
Gotcha.
step up.
So like, how do you deal with her being in the public eye? And then I know it's probably like other guys out there that you may find her attractive and stuff like that. Is there anything that you may, deal with on occasion?
So in the beginning, when we were dating, it was tough because it wasn't like a real title. Like, boyfriend and girlfriend is cool, but it's like she's not married to me. So
yeah.
if some guy, Joe Blow comes up and, he wows her, like, at that point, it's really free game. Like, if he got it.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey,
For sure.
real, like,
For sure.
if he got it, that bag a little bigger than mine, hey, is she
Yeah.
interested? I can't say, hey, we're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
It don't matter at that point. So, I don't know. I think I've gotten a lot better with it. I think, obviously we're married now, so it's a little different. But I think over time too, like seeing her do something that she loves, and yeah, it's gonna attract men because she's beautiful, right? So it's like I got to get used to. Well, that's what my mom said at the time. I have to get used to this. Like this is not gonna go away. Like this is what she wants to do in life. This is what her calling is. She's attractive while doing that. So it's just like, well, she's coming home to you.
Facts.
For sure.
She's coming home to me.
Facts.
You feel me? So it's just like, y'all can look all you want to.
Yeah,
She's
for
coming
sure.
home to me.
For sure.
I like that.
For sure. For sure. How do you guys tend to deal with disagreements in the house? Especially because Jordynn is a creative and really is a boss in her own sense.
Mhm.
So how does that dynamic in the household work?
I'm gonna tell you this, and we're like big advocates for this. Therapy, bro. Therapy. Like that was a game changer for us. Like me having, what I thought was right, what I wanted to do, what she thought was right, what she wanted to do, just clashed every time. And it wasn't like, hey, let's come to an agreement and, work through it together. It was like, no, I'm gonna stand on this. No, I'm gonna stand on this. All right, we just gonna stand on this. Separately. You feel me? So it's just like,
Facts.
all right, this ain't working. This ain't, we're married. This is not how it's supposed to look. So we did some therapy with our one of our old pastors. That was really good. But I think once we started getting to the root issue of why we were like that, like kind of set in our ways before, and like really like hash that out, I think that's when we started to realize, hey, like we're on the same team. Like, yeah, you may have this mindset right now, but hey, talk me through that. Talk me why you feel that way.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Let me tell you why I'm saying this versus shouting commands at you and like you don't understand. Like blind command, like a dictator.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that. And I think like recently our therapy sessions have been like
We haven't been in a while.
we haven't been in a while, but I hold on to that last one.
Yeah.
That was really good. She was just making sure that, hey, hear her and not just, think it's a chore or something like that. Like you just, having to be a yes man. It was more so like hear her intent behind what she's asking of you. Blew my mind. Like
Yeah, because we never hear the intent.
I never heard
Only
the intent.
what's
All I
being
hear is,
Yeah.
I need you to do that.
Yeah.
This is why I need you to do that.
Yeah.
I respond a little better to that, I think. We
For
did.
sure.
Yeah, I think we've come a long way. And like you said, like therapy, we did premarital counseling with our old pastor, and then we did counseling with another woman. When we tried to go back, they were like, she retired. I'm like, dang, it's been a while. But she, like, we were equipped with the tools that we needed to handle disagreements together. And I think that like that's a game changer. But one thing I will say is like men want women to submit, and yes, we're called to submit as wives, but like it's hard to submit to someone that you don't necessarily trust with decisions. And so
That's a fact.
I think when he started stepping into his confidence, like his true confidence, I was able to submit like in a more like a complete way. So now like I really trust him because I know that his like he's not like high and mighty. He's not like treating it as a dictatorship like as he did in the beginning. Now he's like, no, we're on the same team. Like, this is why I need you to like not park too close to the curb because you're going to scratch the tires. You're going to scratch the rims rather than, stop doing
For
that,
sure.
So it's, like you said, explaining the why behind things and really talking through things has been really helpful. And I feel like we're really good at like just getting through conflict now.
Let me tell y'all something. Earlier in marriage, I used to be out here like shouting commands, not knowing what the heck I was talking about. I'm just
sure.
shouting
Just
because it sound good. Like what? Like,
I mean, listen.
hey,
Yo.
go do this real quick.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I said so.
I said so.
I need it done.
Because I'm here.
And me, I'm like, okay, I'm not listening to you. Like I
crazy.
am how I am. I'm wired the way I am. I'm like you said, I'm a boss. Like,
Yeah.
so now I really feel like I am submitted to my husband and I trust him fully.
That's what's up.
What they don't tell you when you first get married is you're going to have to unlearn some things,
Yes.
that we've learned in our upbringing.
Right.
So a lot of times, getting married is really the first step because then you have to learn each other again,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So who, like after y'all have y'all argument, who apologizes first?
Lately it's been you because I don't be doing nothing. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That's not a bar.
No,
That's not a bar.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, I feel like he's been like the first to apologize. I feel like it's both of us, honestly. Like if we're in the wrong, we just step up.
I think now, in this season we're in, I think I've learned to. First of all, I don't like going to bed mad at each other.
Never.
If we can help that, we alleviate that. Second of all, with the kids being around, I don't want them seeing that. I know it's inevitable sometimes, but if I can help it, hey babe, I did such and such earlier. I apologize. I want my daughter to see that because one day she might be in the same boat.
For sure.
I think 3. I think that I don't know. This season that we're in right now, it's so smooth. It's so. Would you say it's so slow and so soft right now?
Like we're in our slow, soft season. Like it's we're thriving.
Very comfortable.
But it's just like
very comfortable.
It's like with ease.
Yeah.
It's not without conflict, but we're
Of
not
course.
shaken by all the things that are happening. Like y'all heard about what I said about money getting taken, stolen from us and all these other things. But I think we're just a really great team and we've learned how to operate and truly be partners. And it was not always like that.
No.
Like there was a time where I felt so hopeless because we were on just such different pages. And I'm like, is this going to work? Like I really questioned, like, were we going to be together forever? And that was a scary thought.
So-
but I think a lot of us have felt that in marriage.
Yeah, no, definitely. So quick question. So far as your faith, were y'all both on the same page, like going into it, or has it grown since y'all been together, or like, how did that go?
It's funny. Being in college, I was so far from faith, like it was crazy. Until I met Jordynn. We went to a Christian conference, that same conference you was talking about earlier. We went to it together. Something I had never done before. Now, granted, I grew up in the church, went to church all my life, but once I got to college and had that freedom, I was out there.
I was
Sure.
out there.
Straight away.
So that was a good feeling to be real back in once we met. And that's another reason how I knew she was the one. I'm like, she's helping me. She wants it more than I do. Like she wants me to receive God more than I do at the time. So it was like, gotta wipe that up. Gotta wipe it up. But yeah, it's been a journey. I'll put it like that. It's been a journey. But we're here.
So right now you guys are in y'all soft, comfortable season. Tell us
soft and
cozy.
slow.
And cozy.
soft and slow. Tell us about how it was maneuvering through those I don't want to say broke, but trying times. Because we're never truly broke. It's just
Well, it was a lot of like, I remember praying a lot, and then there was a time, I'm gonna be real, I would just like give up. I was like, I'm not praying no more. Like, I'm not praying anymore about this marriage. I'm done. Somebody else got to do it. Tell somebody else to do it. But I just remember feeling very lonely. And it's interesting how many factors come with marriage. Like even our kids seem so much happier now. So I like looking back, I'm like, maybe our daughter could see that we weren't in the best place,
for sure.
Maybe she was feeling some of that, but it didn't feel good. It didn't feel like I had I can probably speak for you too. It didn't feel like we had someone to lean on. It was kind of like, you doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. We're gonna come home, sleep in the same bed, not talk, and it's a terrible feeling. And I feel for everyone who's going through that in their marriage right now. I really do, because it's not fun, but there is hope.
Yep.
There's hope.
So while Jordynn was out creating content, what were you doing, brother?
So this is 2017. We had just gotten married. I just really settled into Charlotte. I had got a job at a car dealership, and I was selling cars. Hated it, but it was my shoe in to marry Jordynn. The pops was like, "Hey, if you're gonna marry my daughter, like you said earlier, you better be able to provide for her." So I was like, "All right, moving to Charlotte."
He He wanted me so bad. I wanted him too, though.
He got you
But
though.
he pursued me.
And I did whatever it took. So
Yeah.
getting that job, I sold cars, hated it, ended up getting pretty good at it, and then I got let go, but still worked in the company, but in a different department. So I was in total, I was in the automotive industry for about 5 years. I left last year. Last year was my last year there. So while she was out there slinging content, I was slinging cars and services like that. So,
Oh,
So what are you? Go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, so what are you doing currently now?
so now I work with the company. It's called Electrolux. It's an appliance company
Mhm.
based out of Sweden, but the headquarters is here in Charlotte. So I work with contract sales with them. As of March 27th, it'll be my last day there. I'll be full-time managing Jordynn.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so it'll be full-time. So that's a bombshell for the pod.
Yeah.
So
Clap that up.
So-
yeah.
No, it's exciting. I think you announced that you were going to be managing me. I had a terrible experience with a manager.
Really?
I bet.
Terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Like, it was bad.
I bet.
But anyways, the contract was over at the beginning of February. So he
yeah.
announced that he was going to be my manager. And then shortly after that, his job tells him that they're laying people off. So this isn't like willingly. He wasn't leaving
Yeah.
willingly, but this is a part. I think this is all a part of God's
God's
plan
plan,
for
yeah,
real.
for sure.
Because
Yeah.
The timing.
I don't know if he would have been able to fully commit to managing while still working his job, because it's hard for him to like have multiple things that he's working on. He's more of
Definitely.
a like one project at a time
Yeah.
type of person. And so this is like a really exciting time, but it's still nerve wracking because it's like, oh, we got 2 incomes now
Yeah.
that we have to cover, and we got to just like kill it. Like, yeah,
Y'all gonna
there's
kill
no plan
it.
B. There's no plan B.
Y'all gonna kill it, man.
Are you excited, Will?
I'm excited. I'm finally in a season of like loving what I get to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been good at many things as far as job goes, but it's like I'm working for, our family legacy. That to me means more than any job that I could have for somebody else, working under somebody else, any paycheck. Like if I get to, sign my name on it or sign her name on it, that's dope. So I'm excited.
I'm excited
Do y'all
for you
have
guys.
do y'all have any kind of projects, any big projects coming up?
So we're trying to land brand partnerships now. That's my main thing now, as far as projects go.
Mm-hmm.
But like all that stuff she mentioned earlier, the things that outside of that she doesn't want to do, I pick that slack up. That's me.
Dope.
That's me. Yeah.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
That's super dope. Last question. What would you guys tell your 10 years ago self? If you could say one thing to them in preparation for where they want to go. Loaded question, I know.
10 years ago. Let's see, I'd have been 20.
What is that one piece of advice?
I think I would say, don't compromise, and like whatever desire you have, like just go for it. Because like there's no reason to waste any time. I think about like if I would have posted sooner and got serious sooner, like where I could be now. I don't dwell on that. We can't dwell on that, but it's like, dang.
Yeah, for sure.
dang.
What if?
What if?
But we here now.
We're here
Right.
now, yeah.
We're going to continue to grow and flourish
Yep.
in God's favor.
Amen.
I think to piggyback off of that, I think I would tell myself to be more serious. Take it seriously. Whatever you do, just take it serious. If you're gonna do it, be all in. Let your yeses be your yes, let your no's be your no. But just take it serious. Be intentional.
Man.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was the BlackPrint Podcast, episode 6, with the amazing Jordynn and Will. We
Yes.
appreciate you guys for coming
Appreciate
through
y'all for having us.
and giving us y'all time, because you could have said no.
You could have.
So
Wouldn't have said that.
we definitely appreciate that. I'm your host, Virtue the Artist,
And it's your boy Fame.
and this is the BlackPrint Podcast.
Peace.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.